So today we will start working with a tab in a Visualforce page, and then I'll start talking about the input components. Okay, so we'll come to the input components later. First of all, let's build tabs in the page. So okay, so for that, first of all, let me just create a page. Let's say we want a page which can display account details and all the related list details. Okay. Standard controller equals account user effects detail and let me get a record ID to display on the URL. See, this is the normal display of the record, right? So we get to see the details of this record and then the related lists one by one. All right. Now, just assume a situation in which every related one, there can be a lot of related lists. That can be one situation. And if every related list has a lot of records, let's say I have 15-20 contacts, and then I have 15-20 opportunities or cases. In that case, what do you do? Got my point? So there can be situation where we have a lot of records which are available. All right. Now, the problem will be if there are too many records in the related list, then you will have to scroll down a lot to get those records. Moreover, when there are too many records, the person who is actually working in the sales or customer support team will also get confused, because if there are too many records listed under each related list and then there are 6-7 related lists, then it will become a little difficult for that person also to quickly look into the records, scrolling down, right? So for this kind of a situation, let me just create a page, a Visualforce page, which will have the tabs. Okay, tabs means I'll create tabs for details, I'll create tab for contacts, opportunity. For each related list, I'm going to create a tab here, right? So that the user does not need to scroll down so that much to look into the records, right? So instead of displaying the data like this, which is a normal standard Salesforce page, instead of displaying the data as a standard Salesforce page, let us create a Visualforce page which will have the tabs. So let's just go to the Visualforce page. I'll start creating a page block. Um, page with tabs. Okay. So as we have talked earlier, in Visualforce everything is a component, right? So if I have to create tabs, tab also has to be a component. So there is a component called Visual Apex tab. We're going to call that Apex. But before you call the tabs, there's another component called tab panel. So you have to create the tab panel before you can create the tabs. So now I've created a tab panel. Inside the tab panel, you can create the tabs. Okay. Put in the we'll call it basic info. Okay, so we created a tab panel we see on the page, and we then created a tab on this, and we have put a label on that, basic info. The same way, if you want other tabs to be created, all that you have to do, you just have to go ahead and create the other tabs inside the tab panel. Text tab, detail info. Right. So I've created two tabs here as two components. One is detail info, one is basic info. Both the tabs are blank. You don't see any information when you click on the tab. Why we don't see? Because you have not put any information inside them. Alright. So all that you have to do is, for a particular tab, whatever information you want to display inside that tab, that information you have to put here. Like okay. So under this tab, I have put name, type, and industry. So that's what we get to see under this tab. When you click on detail info, this is still blank. When you click on basic info, you'll get to see the basic information. Whatever you want to put, you can put there. Under detail info, let me use the detail component, Apex detail component. Apex detail component, no title and no related list. False. Now you see basic info, and then when you click on detail info, you will see the detail info, the other tab. All right. Same way, I can have tabs for different related lists. Apex tab label, let's say contacts. Okay. Inside this, I'll give the related list component because I just want to display one related list here. List equals contacts. It's tab. Okay. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can keep on creating the tabs that you need, and under each tab, all that you have to do is you just have to define what you want to display. So the first one is basic info. The second one is detail info. Third one is contacts. It shows all the contacts under that particular account. Then we have the opportunities. It will show all the opportunities under that account. Then I have cases. It will show all the cases under that account. Okay. So now, in case you have, uh, for example, 10, 15 records under each related list, and your one page was becoming too long for the end users to scroll down and find the records, and it was also becoming confusing for them. So you can actually design an interface which looks something as simple as this. So all that they need to do is, they just want to, look into the opportunities. They should click on opportunities and look into the opportunities, right? Now, from the design perspective, we have done good. We have actually created something where the end user will need to not need to scroll down, right? You can just click on a certain tab and find the information that is required. Okay. There's a small challenge with this page that I can still feel the time which it is taking. Okay, try and understand this. The time which is being taken to open a tab is something which is a drawback for this page. Okay, so the reason why I wanted, because I wanted things to happen fast. Now if you click on a tab, you see that it takes considerable amount of time. you know Not that long, but still it is taking some time to reload the page and display the result. Okay, so if I am on detail page and I want to go to contacts, it loads the entire page and it takes maybe half a second or 1 second. So which is still something which is not a very pleasant experience. So what do we do then? Okay. Before I tell you what exactly needs to be done on the coding part, let's try and understand what exactly is happening here. So see, in this page, there are a lot of components on this page. If you see, there are a lot of things here. Like there is a sidebar, there is the header, there is this page title, then there are the tabs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tabs. Okay, so there are a lot of things on this page. What is happening now, if you look at this point, once I click on a tab, just keep on looking here. Okay, I'll click on this once again. So what does this indicate? That circle that indicates the page is getting reloaded. Try and understand this concept. Page getting reloaded means all the components on the page are getting reloaded. All the components on the page are getting reloaded. However, that is something which was not required. Do we need to reload all the components every time we click on a tab? The answer is simple no, because only the tab content is going to change. The sidebar is going to remain same, header is going to remain same, this page block title is going to remain same, other tabs are going to remain same. So do we need to reload all these things? Now what is happening, even to do a small thing, just to update this, all the records are getting all the components are getting reloaded. This is not a very good idea. So what do we do then? The solution is Ajax. um, so this is something which is used in normal web designing concepts. You would see, there are some websites which are not, which don't have too many things, but still they are very slow. And there are certain websites which have a lot of components in them, too much designing and all, still they are fast. The reason is most of the times Ajax. Because if you have a website where you're trying to load everything every time, then it's definitely meant to be slow. If you're just trying to reload the things or refresh the things which are required, then it becomes faster. Correct? So we'll not get into that. We will stick to our Visualforce page. The same Ajax concept is applicable here also. So Ajax basically talks about partial reload of the page or partial refresh of the page. Instead of reloading the entire page data or information, just reload the small part of it so that you can save time on that. So how do we do that? There are different ways of doing that. Um, in Visualforce, there are different ways of using Ajax, but for tabs they have a special attribute. So they have a predefined attribute for tabs. When you do it through a button or a link, there is a different way. So that's something which we'll discuss later. For tabs, we have something called switch type. So it's an attribute of the tab panel. In the tab panel, there's an attribute switch type. You have to say switch type equals Ajax. That's it. That's all we have to say. And it will start re-rendering only the tab, not the entire page. Okay. Now you look onto this when I click on a certain tab. Did the page reload? No. Look into it once again. See, did the page reload? No. Now it's a lot more faster and it's a lot more smooth. Transitioning from one tab to the other tab. You're just clicking on the tab and you're going to the tab. That's it. Correct? Because now it is not reloading the entire thing. Here. So, try and use switch type equals Ajax wherever possible, just to ensure that your tabs are not making the page very slow. Okay, every time if you click on a tab and if the entire page starts getting reloaded, then ultimately your page is going to become slow. All right, so if there is a situation where you just want to make sure that the tabs are there and you want to reload the tabs fast, then use switch type equals Ajax. All right, clear. Now let me know if anyone has a question or doubt. Okay, using some input components. Input components basically, when I say, I mean where the end user has got something to enter into the page. So far, whatever pages we have created, they are all created for displaying the information. I don't have an option of editing anything on the page. See, whatever pages we have created, this is one page that we created. Apart from this, we created a few pages earlier also, like this V6. So all are like read-only kind of pages. When the end user comes, views the data, goes back. Okay. Now, how do we include input components where the end user can interact with the pages and he can make changes on the data? Input components. Input component can be as simple, something as simple as an input field. It can be something like an editable field. can be a button, can be a link. Okay. So these kind of things where the end user gets an option of interacting with the page. So far we are just creating pages to display the information. We are not interacting with the page. Okay. So for including any of the input components, what you need to do, you need to include another component which is called apex form. Okay. Any input component on the Visualforce page should appear within an apex form component. Okay. So let me create an example so that you guys understand it better. I'll just go to Visualforce 8. Found.name. Okay. So currently, I'll just try to display. What is the problem? Who can tell me what's the problem here? What did I do wrong?
Question mark.
I ID question mark.
What exactly do I need to type here?
Question mark ID
ID
equal
question
to.
mark.
Not ID question mark. Question mark ID equal to. Yeah. Okay. Can you have the mics muted, please? Thank you. Okay. So on this page, currently in this page block, I'm trying to display the data. So this is how data is displayed, right? But this is not editable. I cannot go and change it and all. If you want to change this, if you want to edit this data, you need input field component. So let me create another page block. Space block is only meant for that look and feel of the background. That's it. So this is not required anyhow. We say edit info. Okay. So to be able to edit the data, I need another component which is called an input field component. So there is a component which is called input field, and we have to put the value there. Input field component requires an attribute called value where you have to define what value you want to insert in that particular input field. So in this input field, I want to insert account dot name. Okay. The moment you try to put this component in the page and try to save it, it throws you an error. What is the error? It must occur between apex form tag. As I told you, all the input components need to appear within apex form tag. So you have to include one more component here, apex form. Yeah, good. Okay. So any such component needs to be included only under apex form. Okay. See, do you see the difference between displaying the data like this and displaying it like this? Now it is appearing more like an input field. Okay. If you want, you can change it also. You say edge from, you can do this, right? Let's say if I want to display more fields, and industry, you just put the line breaks and save it.
Just quick question, this is
Mm-hmm.
Lakshmi,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, so, right, how can we save this to the database?
Yeah.
We were,
We are still to do that, and just a quick update because I think you joined just now. It is recommended if you ask the questions during the when I say that do you have a question or something like that, okay? So that we are not breaking
right?
the flow also, right? And we are actually going to do that as well. Don't worry. Okay. So now we are on we are on the Visualforce page, and we see that we have called the same account name in two different ways. One is the read only. So if you just go ahead and write this formula without anything, then you see the information as a read only information. All right, and you don't have an option of editing it. If you want to display it as an input field component, then all that you have to do is you just have to use the input field component. So if you see, this is the same thing which I am trying to show here as well. But here I have put it inside another component called input field component. Got it? So if it is inside input field component, then it will appear more like an input field, right? So now if you have the input field, you have the option of making changes here, like whatever. In case you want to change the type, you want to change the industry, you want to change the name. So whatever fields are there, you can make changes on those fields. Okay. So that's one thing. So this is how we have used the input field components. Now, if I go and make changes here, if I, as I was saying, I indicate hcom limited, and if I just come out of this field, do you think that say changes will get saved in the database? Obviously no. So when you update something here on the field, changes are not gonna get updated on the database automatically because nothing has happened on the database, nothing has got saved in the database, right? So for that reason, okay. So And you can also understand that the changes have not got saved in the database looking into this, because this is coming from the database. So which means that in the database still the value remains this one. All right. So how do we make the changes? Whatever we have created or whatever we have updated, how do we update this in the database? Right? How do we do that? For saving the changes to the database or committing the data, you need a command, right? So we need to give a save command. How do we give a save command? There are two components which are available. One is called a command button, one is called a command link. So there is something called a command button, and then there is something called a command link. A command button is uh, is something which looks more like a button, as you might have seen in some of the pages. A command button will look like this, whereas a command link will look like this. Functionality wise, both are same. Just the look and feel is different. All right. So if you want to give a command through a component which looks something like this, use a command link. If you want to give the command using a component which looks like this, use a command button. So we'll create a command button. Command button also needs to be included under the form tag, under the form component. To be on the safer side, what I've done is I have included the entire page under the form component, so that wherever you create an input component, it should not be a problem. Okay. So I will create that component command button. So there is a component called fx command button. Okay, this command button or command link has two required attributes. One is value and one is action. Okay, value is basically the label of the command button. So what do you want to display on the command button? Save the changes. Okay. Action is save. See. So value is basically what you want to display on the button. Action is what action you want to do. Okay. So this can be anything. The value can be anything. Whatever text you want to display on the page, you can write that. Action, if you want to save, it has to be saved. Okay. How does it understand when I say save? It has to save the record. It understands from the controller. That's the logic which is written in this controller, right? So as we are leveraging the standard controller, that's the logic written in standard controller. So this save actually works as a normal standard save. Okay, so it will save the changes in the record. So the save action is a predefined action, and we can use that. So if I say edge.com limited and click on save, now it should ideally save this record. It should save the changes in this record. Save the changes. Do you see this? The record got updated. Change it to something else. All right. Now instead of customer direct, you want to make it installation partner. You want to make it agriculture. Save. See. So whatever changes you're doing here, you can actually see the reflection of that here at the top. You can view the information here. Correct. So whenever you make some changes or whenever you allow some input components, the next thing that you need to use there is a command button kind of a thing or a command link which will allow your changes to be saved. Alright. Now let me know if anyone has any question understanding the form component or the command button.